Top 10! It is time to slowly kill myself. As perfect as Mario is, he has still done some downright stupid stuff. Some of them are just nitpicks and some are just, well, stupid. Seeing how Mario has been in so many video games, of course some of his games would have some flaws. In this case, some stupid shit. And before you start hating on me, I just want to tell you these are my opinions. I freaking love Mario, and I always say the more you love a game, the more flaws you can point out. So, yeah. Again, I'm gonna try and keep it to the main Mario games as much as I can, because otherwise we would just see a bunch of like Hotel Mario stuff or something. Anyway, let's jump into my top 10 stupid shit in Mario. Here we go. Number 10! Let's start with something that I would like to call the Call of Duty syndrome. When we got New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, it was a cool, refreshing little game where we could play a Mario game in a classic style but with upgraded graphics. That's why the word new is in the title. It was a cool game that was perfect for the DS. Then later on we were going to get New Super Mario Bros. Wii for the Wii. And it was cool to play a regular 2D Mario game with 2 to 4 players, but it was sort of the same thing as the last one. And then we got New Super Mario Bros. U, which was the same thing as the last one. And then we got New Super Mario Bros. 2, which was the same thing as the last one. Basically, these games are all, for the most part, the same. Yeah, I do know that each game has something different going on with them, but other than that, they really are the same. They're a little bland and somewhat forgettable. The levels got no soul and it's just whatever. It's still fun to wall jump though. Number 9! Speaking of, here's another DS game. The Mario 64 Remake, if I can call it that, it was a great addition to the DS library, adding more playable characters, more special levels, and 30 more extra stars to collect. They did give us Mario 64 and then some, but something bothered me just a teeny tiny bit. It hurts. My thumb hurts. A lot. The lack of an analog stick on the DS made it somewhat painful to play a game like this, considering it revolves around you controlling these guys in a 3D environment. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I had Mario Party 1 flashbacks. It was almost as bad as those times. So, there's that. It still hurts. Number 8! Do you know what is somewhat insulting? The fact that developers think that we're too dumb to play on the intended difficulty. But has that case ever been as bad as that one time we got a completely different game than what Japan got as a sequel for the original Super Mario Bros.? I don't think so. What we got as Super Mario Bros. 2 is not even the actual sequel. What we got was a game called Doki Doki Panic, just modified and reskinned into a Mario game. Why? Because they thought that the actual sequel, The Lost Levels, was too difficult for the Western audience. So we got a completely different game instead, while we had to wait a few more years for the actual sequel to show up in Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo. I'm not saying that the Western release of Mario Bros. 2 was bad, but it's just a little bit insulting, isn't it? Number 7! Okay, we've already seen a lot of people talk about this and making stupid jokes about it, but imagine being a little kid and playing the original Super Mario Bros. Hoping to save the princess, but you had absolutely no idea how many levels and castles you had to beat in order to finally rescue her. Instead, we got Toad telling us that our princess is another castle, and he did this 7 times! Listen, you didn't know how long you had to play back then, you didn't know how many times you would have to beat Koopa until you finally rescued the princess. There were no indications as to how or when we'll be entering the last castle. So, we got teased every single time this happened. Alright, next number. Number 6! I love Super Mario Sunshine. Okay, love may be too strong of a word, but I really like this game. Probably because almost the entire game is themed after a sunny vacation resort. Beaches everywhere! Following the formula of Super Mario 64, where you collect stars and shit and completing a bunch of tasks, Mario Sunshine had the exact same concept. But I would be lying if I said that there weren't some pretty damn annoying tasks. Specifically, the Giant Watermelon Festival. To get the Shine Sprite, you need the biggest watermelon in order to win the contest, and there are a couple of big-ass watermelons everywhere, but none of them will give you first place. No, you need to get on top of this hill and roll this monstrosity all the way down to the beach without breaking it. And knowing the physics in Mario Sunshine, this is going to be great. God damn it! No, shit! No, not that way! Stop! Don't you dare touch that fuck! Steady now. Come on! There we go. I'm angry. Number 5! The whole universe of Mario has spawned a shit ton of characters. Some of them even managed to spawn their own games, and they're really fucking cool. But then we got all the spin-off games, like the sports games for example, and we've got a very special character who debuted in the good old Nintendo 64 game, Mario Tennis. And that was Waluigi. This guy shows up to every event, every party, every race, and just sort of shows up uninvited in general. Now, if you know me, you would probably think, wait a minute, Dex, don't you like Waluigi? You're absolutely right, so that's why I'm gonna give the number 5 spot to Rosalina instead. I don't like Rosalina. You wanna know why? Because she's the perfect counter for Pac-Man in Smash Brothers. That is pretty much the only reason why. Next! Number 4! Now this is a very strange thing that they did for Super Mario Bros. 3. This game is fantastic. A lot of people would consider this to be the best Mario game ever created. And, of course, I can't argue with that. This game has a lot to offer, from fun levels, fun power-ups, and fun secrets. But there is one particular part of this game that I thought was a little weird, even for Nintendo. When you get to the 6th world of this game, the Ice World, you start slipping on slippery slopes and shit, but other than that, everything seems to be normal. But then we get the 5th level of this world. This one is kinda stupid. Why? Because you can't beat this level in the ordinary way. What you need is to have the leaf power up, stomp on a Koopa shell, gain momentum, sprint towards the empty shell, grab it, and then fly up to a hole in the ceiling while still holding onto the shell, and then use that shell to break the blocks and shit in order to get inside the pipe, which leads to the end of the level. This was a very complicated thing to do. Sure, we all know how to beat it now, but back then we were puzzled as to how exactly to do this crap. So there is absolutely no way to beat this level without the leaf power-up, and plus there's a time limit to worry about. You could use the P-Wing to make things easier, but damn it, how could we have known? It was just a very strange choice. Number 3! So with a huge library of different power-ups, you could easily make another top 10 about the best power-ups in Mario. I'm not gonna do that. There is no denying that the wing cap in Super Mario 64 is one of the best. It was so much fun flying around in the newly discovered 3D world. But think about this for a moment. After playing around with all kinds of power-ups before this game came out, doesn't it feel a little, I don't know, disappointing when it came to the power-ups in Mario 64? Yeah. Wing cap aside, how often do you really use the metal cap or invisibility cap? Almost never. How many times do you need to use the invisibility cap to get a star? Like 2, 3 times maybe? The metal cap is a little more useful, but even that one is underplayed. So they really downplayed the power-ups for this game. There's little to no variation to them. The wing cap is still fun though. Number 2! Okay, back to Sunshine. I already mentioned that there are some stupid and annoying tasks you need to do in order to get them shiny as sprites. But don't get me started on the special secret levels. Okay, you got me started. These were some weird and obnoxious challenges. And no, I'm not talking about the levels where you're forced to get through them without flood on your back. No, I'm talking about the ones where you have to collect 8 red coins in these annoying secret courses. I was originally just gonna put in the pachinko level because, like I mentioned earlier, the physics in this game aren't really that of a high standard. One fuck up and you're dead. But then I realized that almost every single special level are extremely unfair. Alright, I know that they are supposed to be secret, but that's no excuse! I mean, the only way to gain access to one of them is to ride on a Yoshi and then ride on these stupid boats until you reach the island where the entrance is. This is a very slow process and there's a risk of falling into the water, and if you do, Yoshi dies, which means that you would have to start from the very beginning. And when you finally get to the entrance, you're introduced to this annoying level where you have to ride on a lily pad and use flood to spray water in the opposite direction of where you want to go while grabbing 8 red coins. And there's a time limit as well, because the lily pad will slowly start to disappear, and if that happens, you're dead, idiot! Okay, I'm done. Number 1! Sometimes video games can be difficult, and sometimes you can't help but die over and over and over again like a stupid little bitch. And knowing how some people can be, they would start to get extremely pissed. for being bad at video games. But something that is just straight up insulting, which will make you angry even more, is when the game is like, hey, you suck. Take this. You're basically a god now. You start the level again, and at the beginning you can see that block to your side just taunting you as the game thinks you're too bad at it. In recent games, they dare to mock us by guiding you on how to play through a level, and while it's somewhat useful at times, you just can't help but feel great shame when using it. Either if it's a pre-recorded guide or a power-up that makes you invincible, it's just infuriating when they appear on your screen. You don't have to use them if you don't want to, but just seeing them showing up is just repulsive. Sure, kids might want to use them, but how will they ever learn in the future? Just get good at video games, you dumb child! So it's not just the insult, it's more about the next generation of gamers, right? Am I looking into this a little too deep? Yeah, maybe I am. And that wraps up my top 10 stupid shit in Mario. Are you angry with me right now? Well, how about I smear your face with pasta? Like always, I didn't make this list in order for you to hate me. It was just a fun little experiment. And to be honest, it was really freaking difficult to find some problems with these games. Like, really difficult. I am DexTheSwede signing out, and thank you for watching this video. Bye! This video was brought to you thanks to my wonderful Patreon supporters. If you feel like throwing some extra support my way, then you can head over to my Patreon page and receive some pretty dang cool rewards as thanks for pledging and helping my show stay alive. We've got behind the scenes commentaries for every video I make, and you can also receive a very special drawing, very much like this one, sent to your home. Ain't that cool? Wanna keep track of what I'm doing with my stupid life in this stupid show, then you can go ahead and follow me on Facebook and Twitter, as I'll be posting news, updates, and other random shit. Follow me on Twitch if you want to watch me live stream games and such, and we've also got a Discord group that you can join as well. Links are in the description. I am DexTheSwede signing out, and thank you for watching this video. Bye!